Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar of Exploration Insights. I'm at the PDAC edition of the Metals Investment Forum in Toronto, and with me right now is the President and CEO of Inflection Resources, Alistair Waddell. Alistair?
Good to see you, Joe.
I was recently in Australia, in New South Wales, looking at your land package, and obviously it's quite a drive to go from south to north. And so I guess, what is the comparative advantage of your copper exploration program in New South Wales? Like, what is the objective and how are you getting there?
So the objective is to discover, through drilling, a brand new tier 1 scale copper gold deposit. And we're doing this in a belt of rocks that's known to host other big mines. There's a number of very big mines in the belt. Cadia is one. This is Newmont's flagship mining operation in New South Wales, as well as Evolution Mining's North Parks and Cowal operations. So we're exploring the northern extension of this belt where it goes undercover. And we're doing that through sort of systematically drill testing a number of geophysical targets that are brand new and have never been drill tested before. The real advantage is we were able to acquire our own 100% owned land position through staking. To the south of us, where these major mines occur, has been heavily explored, but the northern covered extension where we're focused really hadn't been explored before. So the big advantage was able to acquire a big district scale 100% owned land position with lots of undrilled targets.
So this is, the belt's called Macquarie Arc, so the volcanics and intrusions. How did you know they went undercover? Like, what was behind that?
Yeah, so the government of New South Wales, to encourage investment in mining and exploration, flew the whole state with high-resolution airborne magnetics. This was a massively expensive survey, flown at great expense to the Australian taxpayer, and that information, that data, is available to download. And one of our partners downloaded that information and built a beautiful interpretive geological map extrapolating the known outcropping geology in the south all the way several hundred kilometers to the north. So yeah, we've been using this pre-competitive data, primarily magnetics, but there's also gravity and a few other bits and pieces to build a beautiful geological model, extrapolating the known to the unknown.
So when you're looking undercover, obviously under sand, so what's your exploration process? How do you prioritize and how do you test doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, well, we've taken a very much a systematic approach to this. I mean, it's a little bit boring in some respects, but broadly speaking, we've got a large portfolio of very large targets. These are kilometer scale features we've identified in the magnetics. And we're sort of systematically testing these things through drilling. And the secret really for Inflection is the cost of drilling. It's very cost effective to explore and drill there. And typically we drill in a brand new target that's never been drilled before, anywhere between 1 to 3 holes. We're looking for a big porphyry. So these porphyries have big alteration halos, which very distinctive characteristics in terms of the geochemistry and alteration we see in the rocks. And ultimately, we sort of drill 3 holes, 2 to 3 holes. And if we're not seeing those key characteristics in the basement sequence, then we'll move on. So a key part of the strategy here is really sort of a drill and kill type strategy. They turn the targets over as quickly and as cost effectively as possible. But we've just taken very much the case of just drill test them all. It's kind of
you don't want to miss one.
You don't want to miss one. And, you know, we have ranked them, but probably it's not going, well, it isn't the number 1 target that delivered. It's probably going to be the one we all debate and argue about, so it's really that we just took the decision, let's drill them all in a very systematic manner. And broadly speaking, we've been drilling from south to north.
And so, you know, this sort of program, this multi-year program that's funded by, let's say, retail investors, there's usually a sort of dichotomy between what they want, which is near-term results, whereas this requires consistent funding and a commitment that's multi-year. So you've gotten around that by attracting a major partner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. I mean, a program that really takes perseverance and time. And it's often time is something that a lot of retail investors typically don't appreciate, how long it takes to make a discovery. So we've mitigated a lot of the risk by bringing in a major mining company as a partner. And we've partnered with AngloGold Ashanti, who are fully funding our exploration program in New South Wales. And they're doing this basically a 4-stage multi-year agreement whereby they can own all the way up to a 75% interest in any one individual target. But the key here is it's a 4-stage agreement. Stage 1, where we're currently at right now, is a 10 million Australian dollar program, which is this very program we just mentioned. So that the 2 to 3 holes in each of the targets move on. So we're about halfway through that program with AngloGold right now. At the end of that $10 million phase, which will come in the second half of 2024, AngloGold then retained the right to select up to 5 individual projects within that greater portfolio. And then there's a mechanism there where they can spend $7 million on each project, up to 5 projects to get up to 51% interest. Then they have to spend an additional 20 million Australian dollars to get to 65% on each of the projects. And then to get to 75%, they've got to complete a pre-feasibility study, which is a massive undertaking. We're looking for big block cave, underground copper, gold porphyries. So to drill one of these things off to a pre-feasibility level will require a massive amount of time and capital and drilling to get that done. The other thing of note about that pre-feasibility study, it has to include a minimum 2 million ounce measured and indicated gold or copper gold resource as well. So it's the bar is reasonably high to get to the 75%. And then the other little twist, which we haven't really seen before, is at the end of that, once they get to 75%, they deliver the pre-feasibility study, AngloGold would have to cede back to Inflection a 2% net smelter royalty as well.
Wow.
So that gives a lot of optionality. So we potentially have a pre-feasibility study, 25% interest in the project, and a 2% NSR.
Okay. And I know you've just had some meetings with them. So out of these meetings, you will come up with your 2024 plans.
That's correct, yeah. So we have regular technical meetings. It is very much a partnership with AngloGold. We collaborate on pretty much everything we do. We rely on a lot of their technical expertise and obviously the capital, and they rely on us to execute. So we fully execute the program for a 10% fee, which is going to equate to about $1 million over this next sort of 12 months. But really, part of the meeting I just attended in Perth with AngloGold was really just to plan out the next phase of work. So the second half of the phase 1. We know we're about halfway through the first phase program, and just really deciding if which projects potentially go into phase 2, which are the targets do we need to prioritize to the best of our abilities at this point during phase 1. So really just putting our heads together, just deciding the best way forward. But yeah, lots of discussion around budgets and plans for the second half of phase 1 and also potentially into phase 2 as well.
Great. Okay, well, that's it for me, Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights with Alistair Waddell.
Thanks,
Inflection Resources doing grassroots undercover copper exploration in New South Wales. Thank you very much for watching, and that's it from the Metals Investment Forum at the PDAC in Toronto. Thank you very much.